Well, without head coach Nick Nurse, 5 other assistant coaches, and Pascal Siakam, the Raptors handled their business against the Houston Rockets. 122-111 is your final score. Raps record back at 500 at 17-17. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raptors Nightcap. Randy Urban alongside Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones, and the coach, Jack Armstrong. Jack, coach me through this for a second. You're the team. You're the players on this squad. You learn that 6 coaches aren't going to be there. What is that like? How do you process that?
Well, I've never experienced it, but, you know, I always used to say, yeah, but I used to always say when you coach players with character, the character has a way of coaching the team itself. I think when you get into a season for a while, your habits and your standards that you have as a franchise and what you've instilled in your players start to take over. And that kind of you make tactical adjustments and substitutions and things like that. But ultimately, your core habits are what carry you. And, again, you had 2 incredible leaders in Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry. And so, I mean, and I've said it with you, Sherman Jonesy, and Sherman, you played with Steve Nash, in his prime. I felt that he could be a player coach. Jason Kidd in his prime. And I look at Kyle and Fred, they have that same it factor. So there's a lot of good things in place. So if something like this were to happen, they got the right people. I didn't worry about it at all, quite frankly.
Randy, it's as Jack talked about, it's the respect factor and the leadership too. Not just the leadership from the coaching box, but the leadership on the floor. And my analogy is when I was a principal in the school, when a substitute teacher came in, there were certain classes, that's okay. He or she will be just fine in that class because they're good kids. They work hard. They pay attention. Doesn't matter who's teaching because the teacher's already laid the groundwork. And to Jack's point, this is what we're seeing here. They were terrific. They knew the game plan. Look at the way no shot blocking for Houston. Look at how they got the ball inside. Their defense was pretty good, except for, lapses a bit in the fourth quarter. So, it was something that was the car's almost driving itself right now. And in a game like tonight, you just have to guide it to keep it on the road.
Sherm, as a former player, what would that be like if you could imagine a situation like that?
Well, I would liken it to, a situation where a coach gets tossed out of a game very early. And as a professional player, I've been in that situation and I've seen it and I had to, be the pseudo coach on the floor and kind of get the team through the game. And I think to everybody's point, it's about the quality of character in the players that you have, the understanding of teammates that you're going to have to really keep an eye on when the parent or the coach isn't around. And then the teammates, are just going to go about their business, do what they're supposed to do, stay professional. So it's one of those things when you know the quality that's on your team, there's not much to worry about. And it's kind of like when you're missing a key player. You can do it without a key player if other guys pick it up and kind of pick the slack up. But you don't want to do it too long. And without Nick Nurse and the staff on the coaching on the sidelines, yeah, there's going to be some things, but collectively they can overcome it for a very short period of time. So I just think that with the leadership they had on the floor, as Jack and Jonesy mentioned, they've got enough quality leadership there to get the job done. And yes, Houston is not a good team right now, and it helps that situation. But I just like who they have on the floor in terms of what they're able to really bring to the team.
Sherm, was that an L or a W when you had to do that?
Oh, listen, it's always a W because an L is no longer a loss. It's about learning.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like it. Jack, what'd you think of the Raptors D tonight? First quarter, a little dicey. Fourth quarter, I just feel like they probably felt like they had the game won, and then, Houston makes a little bit of a run there. But what did you see from them?
You nailed it. When it came time to get down to business and buckle down, they did. And, in a game like, and think about it. They had a game where they coughed one up against Minnesota just 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I can't remember. Mm-hmm. And a game like this, you're playing a team that's lost 9 in a row. These are the scariest games. You guys know this. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. And I hate playing teams like this because sooner or later, no matter how bad they are, they're going to find a way to win. So you lose interest sometimes. But when the second and third quarter, when they needed stops, when they needed to show those good habits, they did.
Jonesy, I thought Kyle's been great since he's returned from that little minor thumb injury, and terrific tonight as well.
He's got a lot of stuff. It looked like he had a lot of stuff pent up the last two games, and doing the game on the radio, I put him on triple-double watch the middle of the second quarter because not only did he have the requisite, the Kyle energy, he's making shots. I look at his line. He had 20 points with 9 shots, and one of them was kind of a throwaway at the end of the game there to beat the shot clock buzzer. And so he was on. Sherman made the point last game that it was his thumb. So his cardio was still good. He could still work out. He could still do all the other stuff. And you just knew tonight that with all the circumstances, the coach out, and you could see in one of the timeouts, clapping his hands and wheeling his feet like, come on, boys, let's go. Let's pick this up. This is not a game because of all the other circumstances that we want to give away. I thought he was terrific tonight.
Just one quick point. You look at Kyle Lowry, all the rumors about March 25th, the trade deadline. These are the kind of games that GMs and pro scouts, pro personnel people really dial in, and they're trying to look at a trend and what they see. And what they're seeing, depending on whether that's ever going to happen or not, is a guy at an extended age who's playing incredibly well that can bring a lot of value to a team. So I think it puts Kyle in a good position. I think it puts the Raptors in a good position if they ever want to go down that path. And I think the team that would want to bid on his services is going to feel good about him acquiring him.
And we all know Kyle is very aware of all of those factors that go into this game and everybody looking at him for his leadership. So he did what he was supposed to do.
Well, there's, every team could use a guy like him. Like, this is just the type of player that he is. And
so could the Raptors, Randy.
Right? Exactly. And
you have them. Right?
Yeah. So, but let's switch gears a little bit, Sherm, to Norm. What did he have? Like 30 tonight? And it felt like it was a quiet 30. Is that even possible? Like, you just describe how well he's playing over this stretch and this season.
Well, your statement in saying that it's felt like a quiet 30 just speaks to, how good he's been consistently. When we look at, and don't get this wrong, I'm not in any way comparing him to a guy like LeBron, but when LeBron has 28 points and 8 rebounds and 9 assists, we kind of look at it as ho-hum because he's so great and what he can do. Now, Norm is not on that level at all, but Norm has been playing a very good brand of basketball. And now when you see him drop 30 and it's not explosive and Jack, who is calling the game, and Matt's calling the game, they're not talking about the 30 as much. That speaks to how good he's been and the fact that there's a level of expectation now about his ability to produce every single night. And he's doing it at a high level. So, what Norm is doing is continuing to make everybody a believer that he can be that kind of guy on any given night, but consistently he can be very good. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. He is ringing the cash register every night he plays like this.
Yeah. Jack, look at his last 10 games, 22 points. It's the efficiency for me. He's shooting 54%. Like, he's just getting better seemingly every game.
Yeah. He had a play tonight where OG Anunoby hit him on a back cut on the left side for a layup.
They ran the push.
I said it on the air. He has gotten so much better when he doesn't have the ball. When he was a younger player, he did a lot of ball watching. And now he's got the nuance down. And once you get the nuance down, his shooting mechanics are excellent. He's got an explosive first step. He's got a really good finishing step at the rim. He can finish with both hands. He gets fouled. He makes free throws. So he's got all those things. But the nuance of when you don't have the ball, what you do without it, he's really figured that out. And I think that's brought him to another level.
Jack, I agree. I remember that play, Randy, just to tag Jack. Yeah. I remember that play. They threw it into the elbow. They ran the push series, and he just made a jump shot coming out to the top. And the defender jumped on top, and Norm said, "Really? You're going to give me that?" And he walked back door for the layup. And it speaks to also the development, the fact that he's one of those guys. He's a young vet, been in the league 5, 6, 7 years, has won understands the game, and now is put in a situation where he can show all of that. And to Sherm's point, the price is going up. But you know what? If you pay for him, you know what you're getting, because you're getting everything there on full display.
You know what, guys? Quickly, when you talk about Norm, he couldn't have been in a better situation in terms of a guy who had to completely revamp his jump shot, a guy who came in as an undersized wing player. The situation he came into honed him perfectly to understand how to play in a winning situation, how efficient he has to be, how consistently he has to work to be professional, and he's had to earn everything. You know, if he had gone to a losing situation with his size and his shot, who knows if that type of work would have been put in based on the ample opportunities that might have been given in a losing situation to just reinforce bad habits.
Jack, real quick, about a minute to go in the show, just under. Real quick, the next 3 games, it feels like a bit the dog days of baseball, you know, that kind of season, August. It feels like that with this schedule because the games are just coming so fast and furious. But important to get this next one in Chicago and then Detroit and then the tough one to close out the first half against Boston, right?
Well, you know, I think the one Sunday is going to be tough. Chicago's showing a lot of life. Billy Donovan doing a great job with that club, and they're in the playoffs if the season ends today. So I just think the good thing is you can see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of having a little bit of a break. Just grind your way through it and get to Thursday. So I'm excited about it.
Jonesy, real quick, 10 seconds.
Hey, I'm with the guys. It's time to finish out. You know, it's not all-star quite the break, but it's how you finish going into and coming out of the break.
Well, we got to finish tonight. I appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with me, even you, Sherm. But we'll see you Sunday.
You're welcome, buddy.
You're a wise guy.
Raptors and Bulls, Sunday at 7. See you then.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.